Hi everybody. Wanted to make a little video today to show you a new guitar that I've been working on in the workshop now for the last year or so. I've had the design on the wall. I've been slowly building it, and here it is. Now, I know that I seem to be synonymous these days with playing Stratocasters, but actually it's the guitar that I'm least comfortable with. I am and have always been kind of a Les Paul guy. I like humbuckers. I don't like tremolos very much, even though I've played Strats an awful lot over the last couple of decades. And I didn't really have what I would call a true sort of Les Paul sounding guitar in my arsenal, but this has been my answer to it. Now, obviously then it's going to be constructed very much like a Les Paul. The body is all mahogany. It is weight relieved, but not anywhere, and this is a bit of a fallacy that the weight relieving really changes the tone. It doesn't, as long as you do it discreetly and in areas where it's not going to affect the bridge and the mass of the guitar. It's got a nice cutaway here, which gives it this nice balanced hand, so you can see it's not a very heavy guitar. Otherwise I just wouldn't be able to lift it like that, and you can see the balance is very good. Maple top, has to be if it's going to be a Les Paul, right? The depth of the top is about ½ an inch in the middle, same as a Les Paul standard from the 50s, but you can see that the guitar is flat. It doesn't have that angle, and that means that it's less likely to get damaged in transit. It's less likely to get damaged in a fall. And actually the headstock angle helps, and I'll get to that in a second. It's got a nice big sort of 50, somewhere between a 58 and a 59 neck. This is the shape that I like the most. I like a big neck on a guitar. A lot of people don't, but you know, if you're making it for somebody else, you can make the neck any size you like. It's about the same width as an old-fashioned Les Paul, but it feels fine to me. It's nice and chunky in the hand without being too big. No binding. There's a reason for that. As a luthier, I'm not a big fan of binding because, although it looks great, it's a pig to repair. But secondly, were this guitar to fall and maybe get, and I get this quite a lot by the way, with customers coming in where you've got a big nick out of one fret. Well, I don't have to remove any binding here. I can just pull the fret and replace it. I don't have to start sort of blending frets in or, you know, doing a whole dress on it. I can just replace the one fret. I know what size they are. Bone nut, standard tuners on the headstock. There's no real need for knocking tuners. They're more a convenience than anything else. They don't really aid stability if you know how to put your strings on properly. Biflex truss rod. Nice big volute, but it's not in the way. I don't like the 70s Gibson volute where it gets in the way. That's a nonsense. There's no need for the volute to be there because the volute needs to be behind the nut. What you're trying to do is compensate for this bit of wood that you've taken away at this nice narrow point, because you've got to be able to get in there to adjust your truss rod. That's what it's there for. The headstock therefore then has this kind of narrower string pull, which is, but that's always been my headstock shape, right? So I mean, it's nothing new. What is new is this 7-degree angle. The headstock pitch is very light, and the reason for that is because obviously it's the headstock pitch that creates the problems with tuning, on top of that wide splay that the old Les Paul has. Now Gibson of course can't change it because, let's face it, there'd be absolute uproar. Electronics. We've got, well actually let's just do this, the bridge and tailpiece first. This is a standard set of Les Paul style hardware by Goto. Basic flat replacement hardware. The reason I've used this is again because if you have a problem with one on the road, I can go into any shop or online and get one in 24 hours. And that's always good because, you know, when it comes to hardware, these are things that can get damaged. It's rare, but it can happen. These are the old-fashioned ones. The pins go directly into the body, so it's the small pins, not the large cup style replacement parts. Standard long switchcraft switch, CTS pots. Now the pickups, and we'll get to those pots in a sec actually, because there's a little bit more about those. This is an Alnico 4 PAS style pickup, which I wound here. I like my bridge pickup just a little strong. So it's not super strong, it's around 8K. There's a bit of disparity between the two winds. I like that because it just allows a little bit of extra brightness through. There's always ways to tame the brightness in a Les Paul. You've got your tone control, and of course you can blend your pickups. The neck pickup is a lot less hot. Well, probably about sort of 10 to 15% less hot than the bridge pickup. So it's a little underwound. The reason for this is it means I can get it closer to the string. But also, to get it closer to the string, I want to use a slightly more subtle magnetism. So my favourite Alnico 3 in the neck gives it a lovely sort of rich, creamy kind of a sound, but without being over aggressive when it's this close. What this means is that the pickups are pretty well balanced. You don't have to back one away, but also that means that you can use these two pots to blend these two together much more effectively. Now, talking about pots, I've used the vintage CTS taper. I haven't been using these actually up until now because I thought they might be a little bit, well, I thought they might be a bit snake oily. And I've been told that they don't really truly match the old Central Labs ones. So do they help? Actually, yeah, they do, actually quite a lot, because what you get is a lot more control in this middle area of the run of your knob. And the point of this is that when you're blending the two pickups in this central position, you do get this fine control that sort of allows you to keep the bridge pickup as a bridge pickup sound, but you can add just a little bit of flavor to it with this neck pickup. Now you'll notice that my controls don't look like a Les Paul either. That's because as a singer, I want my hand here. I want to be able to get to that quickly because that's the one you're going to use the most, the bridge pickup knob. So once I placed that here, I had to find a way of making this work with that shape. For me, it was to follow the natural curve of the body as I designed it, partly for the aesthetic, but partly because I didn't want any other knobs in the way of the volume controls. The switch, of course, is the same way up as a Les Paul. The knobs are upside down. So volume and tone for the neck, volume and tone for the bridge. And again, using the Control Labs, or the Central Labs taper, so it's claimed. That makes these a bit subtle, actually. I think it's a good choice maybe to mix them. I haven't done on this guitar because I don't use my tone controls a lot. So let's plug it in and let me show you what it sounds like.